Morning, everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer.
And this morning, we're going to talk about building a website.
Takes forever. Well, it might seem like it takes forever on the end of the client, especially when you're coming out like, "Oh, it's gonna take 12 weeks." I think over on the agency or whoever's building it side, they're like, "Yeah, that's not enough time."
And I think the biggest question that I get asked over and over again is why does it take so long? Why does it take 12 weeks? And clients don't usually love my answer, but the answer is usually it isn't the agency, it's you.
Yeah, yeah. You're just not really like you had said pre-show, like they're not really sure what they want. All this, in the beginning kind of gets thrown out of possibilities and then you start getting going and they're like, "Okay, well what about this and what about that?" and it starts adding to the project.
The the biggest thing, and I think these are the things that you can do if you're getting ready for a web project to do on the front end, is before you call a web designer, surf the internet. Look for companies like yours in other cities. Don't look in your market
There you go.
and start building a wish list of what do you like? What don't you like? Because that's honestly, after at a kickoff meeting, that's one of the first things we start asking. And if you haven't looked at another website or you don't really know what you like, or you want some things, but you don't really know about all the features, well, that adds a week to the design.
Yep. And you're saying two things there. So structure, like another competitor's
Mhm,
website in another area, like you said, but what do you like of the structure? Maybe the features, like you're
mhm,
able to do this, you're able to do that. And then the design. Is
mhm.
it clean? Is it got more going on? Is it soft? Is it to the point? Like all those little things really add up.
They do, and so a lot of times when you start a web project, the first thing that that web team is gonna do is they're gonna ask you for your brand assets, your guidelines, your style guide. If you don't have that, "Yeah, well, here's my logo." Okay, that's good. We've got a logo. It's got 2 colors and 2 fonts. Now, let's talk about beyond that logo, to some of the things you were talking about. Is your brand
Messaging.
playful?
Mhm.
Does your brand have a decidedly feminine or masculine feel? All of those things. Again, get your brand guidelines in order. Get a clean copy of your logo. Get those things done before you call the designer. But there are lots of other places that this project goes off the rails. And
Content. I mean, we're saying messaging, which is kind of, the shorter version, but there's sometimes there's a lot of content that
mhm.
is either being written by the client or it's being written by you. And so there's back and forth approval on that as well.
And that conversation, a lot of people go into a web project without clarity on that. Some web design firms are full service. They will write your web content, they will design the pages. And other firms build the pages and then they're like, okay, we need the words.
Yeah.
And whether you're waiting for the words to be written, whether you're writing them or the back and forth on approval, well, there goes another week. And
1 week? I'm thinking like a couple possibly.
depending on how big the website is.
Yeah.
So, again, if you want to short circuit the actual problem or project, do your homework up front.
So, how about like some ways that it can I mean, you're mentioning a couple here that it could be shorter. What's the quickest you've ever done one?
I built a website in a day for a client. It can be done. He came to me, and now how did we build a website in 24 hours? Because everybody's sitting there going, "I want that." No, you don't necessarily. Number one, he paid me a premium for it because I had to stop everything and I had to throw everybody in the firm at that one project for one day. How we did it, we had very tight specifications. He came in, he said, "This is my logo, this is my brand, this is the website I need." And I said, "Okay, in one day, we can build these 5 pages. We are going to use stock photography, which is another place that the
Yep.
can go completely off the rails, but it's worth it. But we're going to use stock photography, except for a photo of you.
Mhm.
We agreed we're going to have one contact form and
Yep.
and a schedule an appointment form. And that's all we are going to build. Now, we put it on a platform. We used WordPress where we could add, we could change, we could go forward. He had a very specific need. He was leaving his job. He had not anticipated leaving his job.
Mhm.
This was his long-term vision, so that was good because he'd been have all this stuff in his head.
Right.
So he could come to me and say, "Okay, today." I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right." Yeah. But over the next year, we edited, we upgraded, we changed. A year later, that website didn't look really at
You did
all
some
like what.
marketing?
Hmm?
You did some marketing?
We did some marketing. It didn't look at all like what it started out at, but
Yeah.
but we got it up and running. But the only way that was possible was because he knew exactly what he wanted.
Yeah, yeah. So, I'm trying to there's the discovery and planning,
Mhm.
there's the tech choices, which,
Mhm.
we haven't talked about. There's the design phase, the development phase, the content creation phase. Another one we not haven't talked about, testing and quality assurance, and then there's a whole launch and development. Am I missing one out of that?
No, I think you've got it all. I think people underestimate, and particularly let's deal with the at the strategy phase. People think, okay, I've got the outline of the website, but the real first stumbling block. What do you want people to do when they come to your website?
Mhm.
What do you want at the top of your homepage?
So
Because
not everything.
for no, because 40% of your traffic is going to stop. 40% of the traffic that comes to the website is going to go to your homepage. The rest is going to go elsewhere.
Right.
People are going to come to that homepage, and
Yeah.
you got one shot and you got one message.
Yep.
And deciding that sounds like it's going to be easy, but that can be a conversation that goes on for weeks
Yeah.
while you're trying to figure everything else out. Well, but we want to do this and we want to do this. Okay, pick one.
Yeah. Yeah. You can get
And
all the rest later. All that,
mhm,
can come with the marketing phase, but just
but
that homepage.
but what do you want people? Do you want them to schedule an appointment, sign up for your newsletter, download a workbook, learn about you?
Yeah.
That will what is it that will be the best introduction of your company? And that download, I mentioned,
Yeah.
that whole sales funnel that
Yeah.
runs straight through your website, that's a whole strategy in itself.
I recently redid my homepage. I'm not sure if you noticed yet. We've talked about it before, but I softened it. I dropped the pink and it's as I think there's still, but I was going for what the brand really stands for, a calming nature, educational. I know that people get overwhelmed with tech, and so I even changed a tagline to digital marketing is complicated, but your marketing agency doesn't have to be.
Nice.
It's all soft, but how long have I been talking about that? For a while.
Absolutely. And the thing is that you go through
Journey.
this journey with your brand. And if you are, oh yeah, look at that. That is so much calmer. Oh, I love the new site. Um, but you go through this journey with your brand where you are trying to figure out who you are. And you know what? Who I am as a person, there's a lot of me that has been me for 25 years. It hasn't really changed, or 40 years. But there are things about me that are different,
Yeah.
that I've learned along the way, and your business and your brand is the same. And you don't want to be changing so dramatically that people, their heads spin,
Yeah.
but the little changes make a huge difference.
And it's all on your homepage, like what
Mhm.
you're saying. And so, you can move through and you got to get the basic like steps, but even that beginning stage, 12 weeks to build that website. I think I said 5 or 6 different stages within that. There's
Mhm.
probably 10 to 15 different little things that are underneath
Mhm.
all of that, and that's why it takes 12 weeks.
Absolutely. And I want to just say one more thing, because you touched on it, and quality control and testing.
Mhm.
Um,
Multiple
take that
devices, multiple
multiple
screens.
devices, but yes, take that extra time, kick the tires, and then launch. If you have a new website, we'd love to see it. Go ahead and put a link to it in the
Yeah.
comments and show off what you've done. And if you're looking for help with your design and your strategy, give Jennifer and her team at Elevated Marketing Solutions a call. Check out their new website. It's beautiful.
Well, in Small Biz Chat, I think you have lots of checklists in there on web design, web builds, what
Mm.
to think about before. So there are all those lists that you can get prepared before you get to somebody so
Mhm.
that you're ready to go. So check that out too as well. All right,
Awesome.
take
We'll see
care.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye.